for the next 6 months, and we want all the vets to come and get a hold of these guys and let them know when you're having events and stuff, so we can see what they're doing. And if you have any events in the Oakdale area, make sure that you let them know. Just like everything else, we want to make sure everybody gets here right and gets everything done the right way. So this is their first step to coming in and doing what they're going to do, and they're going to do it right, but we're going to keep watching. All right? Yes, sir.
So then are we going to be in Oakdale? Right now, is there any other chapters or just Oakdale?
No, there's supposed to be one in Oakdale. You plan any other chapters?
If they do, they'll contact
We'll
C.O.C.
contact the right, we go through the right steps that we do. But as far as now, we only have one chapter.
So I know what you're saying. You'll be riding around and you have that on.
Yes.
There's going to be problems.
Yeah.
Thank you, brother. One thing I want to mention for the vets clubs and for people who are military and go to Fort Polk, you cannot wear your colors, your cut, or stuff on Fort Polk. It's a Fort Polk regulation, not county, not parish, not state, but Fort Polk regulation. Correct, Boo? Is that right? Okay. Ozzy's our sergeant at arms here, and he keeps track of it for us. But it's got to the point, if they see a sticker in your car window that references that you're supposed to be, or you're a member of a club, whether it's a riding club or an association, they will stop the car and cite you. So be careful. Yes, sir.
That's active duty. We didn't have a problem on Fort Polk before active duty. We were on Fort Polk about a month and a half. They didn't stop us because we weren't active.
Yeah, well, we just, Ozzy, what
Changed
you
that
got on that?
So they had changed it.
Sometimes they'll stop you, sometimes they're not, but they will ask you to take it off if you're on post.
Okay.
If it's somebody that knows the reg, they'll ask you to take it off.
Appreciate that.
Just safe, just work, better be safe than sorry, y'all. That's all I got right now.
Any other new clubs or any questions, anything so far? I was told, I don't know, I want to get with Richard, might have heard this too, or Donnie, where's Donnie? Are they starting to mandate video recording in all public vehicles like ambulances and fire trucks and stuff like that? Someone told me that they were doing that. I know in Texas, some guys had gotten an accident and a situation on the side of the highway, and when they came to Louisiana to interview them, they told them, you know, that you said this, you said that, is all recorded from the ambulance, from the back of the ambulance. So,
I don't know that there's been legislation mandating that. It is becoming more and more prevalent, but I'm still coming across many law enforcement agencies that do not have it.
okay.
So, you know, I don't think that they're going to all have the wherewithal to have it. For starters, yeah. It's going to be expensive.
Okay.
But I can look into that as well.
Yeah, so be careful when you're in the back of that ambulance. If you, you know, say I shouldn't have did this, I shouldn't have did that, you may incriminate yourself by accident, but by saying the wrong thing, you know. Even though showing you sorrow or something like that, they can use that against you, right? So.
Well, and they can use it against you if you have a personal injury case.
Yeah.
You know, I had a client that had half of his hand chopped off on a ship, and would have had $1 million case possibly. And they had in the medical records where he told the EMTs that he had done some kind of drugs. I don't remember what they were. And so now the defense lawyer like, well, no wonder he got hurt. He was high. Yeah. So it really hurt his case. I mean, I still got him a bunch of money, but it hurt his case a lot.
Yeah. So watch what you say until you talk to an attorney. Remember the rules, you know. Am I being detained? Am I under arrest? Am I free to go? If not, I'll vote the Fifth Amendment and make a call to 1-800-BIKERS. 1-800-BIKERS?
1-800 on a bike.
1-800 on a bike. You want to start first, or you want Donnie to start first?
Yeah, Donnie, go.
Donnie, want to give us a legislative report?
Yep. Gotta be in midsummer, got a fairly short report today. So as far as Motorcycle Rider Foundation, you know, they're working on the key priorities for that, for motorcycle rights. On their list is motorcycle profiling. We got some more co-sponsors recently too, so we're building momentum there. Renewable fuels, autonomous vehicles, and well, I'll tell them about our ride.
Oh, yeah, go ahead.
So Swamp and I just attended the INCOM conference in Nashville, Tennessee, and I've talked a lot about autonomous vehicles and stuff, and I study on it all the time. I've actually never ridden in a car that actually had some of this equipment. This car had driver assist on it, so when the Swamp was leaving down there, you know, he was fighting. You didn't know what was going on with it. I got to test this thing. I drove it all the way back, so I tested it out to see. They won't trust this thing at first, but it literally drives itself. You can take your hands off the steering wheel for a couple of 2 or 3 minutes, and then it'll flag come up so you put your hands back on there. But and one of the odd things about it was when you get close to exits, if you don't have the broken lines right there, it'll try to take the exit. I mean, it really freaked me out. But I mean, after about an hour or two of driving it, I'd kind of gotten used to what it would do, what it wouldn't do, and they call it, that's not a fully autonomous vehicle, but they call it driver's assist.
Lane assist. Lane assist.
Lane assist,
Lane
yeah.
assist.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, autonomous technology, that's another thing they stay on top of up there at the MRF as far as how they're going to interact with motorcycles on the road. Lord and mercy, we got enough things we're having to deal with anyway. Of course, black box, we're looking after the rights on that, you know, to make sure that who the owner of that information is, you know, it's the driver of the vehicle. You know, combustion engines is actually on their list, you know, with some of the things that happen in California with some of the small engines and stuff, you know. That's going to be another thing that we're arguing for up there, not for a ban of internal combustion engines. You know, I've been seeing this coming for the last, I don't know how many years, and it's picking up speed now. So it's something else we're looking at. The highway bill, of course, that's the bill we usually get most of our stuff in, particularly our monies that goes back to the states for motorcycle safety and education comes through that highway bill. So that's their key priorities they're working on. The only update I've really got since the last meeting is a call to action that has to do with E15 gasoline, and it's House Resolution 7731. That one's about having warnings and proper labeling, you know, where people don't accidentally put the E15. You definitely don't want to put it in a watercraft or a motorcycle or really any small engine. I mean, if you know, really with the lawnmowers, not put any ethanol in them is good. But that's E15. They've cranked it up this summer. The Biden administration has since we've gotten gas prices going up. So they're trying to get more ethanol sold. I know Swamp mentioned about Laddie Elkins passed away. There's been 2 MRF board members passed away in the last few months. One of them from Arizona, Deborah Buttigieg, and she was a board member from Arizona. She was active with the MMA of Arizona. And Dave Condon, he was from Massachusetts, past state president of ABATE up there. They were 2 key people that, you know, that's worked hard. I mean, they're both in the Sturgis Hall of Fame, I believe. Lifetime freedom fighters. So I thought I'd mention them. We are doing video. We're trying to get the message out as much as we can on what's going on with the motorcycle rights throughout the state and nationally. And that's why James has been doing some filming over here. We are looking to buy some better equipment. We're looking at having a camcorder, tripod, and all that nice stuff next time. Let's see. Like I said, we just attended the INCOM conference. It was in Nashville. Had a great time there. They treated us really great. Nice hotel. Got to talk with a lot of the freedom fighters from around the nation. Some of the same people I see there, I see at the MRF up there lobbying every year in the spring for the bikers in the Beltway. So they had a lot of good workshops, a lot of good information passed on. It was a great time. Looking forward to next time. And I think that's about all I got.
Donnie's brought up, since we were videotaping the meetings and stuff, and I want to get y'all input on that. Have y'all been going, checking out the YouTube channel and seeing them? A lot of clubs, I know this club right here, that's how they made their decision to join the C.O.C. They're a national club, a Christian club. Any input on that part? Y'all, yays or nays on that part? We try not to video too many patches of faces, you know, just mainly what's happening in the state in case y'all miss a meeting, y'all can see what's going on, what we voted on.
So far, it's a good thing. I watched it before I made it over here. And I looked at it, it's a good thing.
It convinced you to come and be part of this? Any negative sides on this, anybody? No? Now Donnie, they were doing it with a cell phone, S10 or something like that.
It's
Donnie's
22.
been looking and shopping around. He found a camera with a tripod and audio.
Yeah, it's got a microphone, tripod, and it's wireless too, so you can upload to the internet. It's got order a couple of memory sticks for it. But
okay.
Yeah, everything set us up at less than $300.
Yeah. And what I was gonna do too, like we don't have a meeting or something comes up, Donnie can do like a little podcast on the side at his house and inform everybody what's going on in the state, ABATE, C.O.C, MRF, all kinds of stuff. Or if y'all have anything coming up, y'all can contact Donnie. Donnie can put it out on the podcast. So what I'm asking y'all now is for a vote to see. I think you said it could be under $300.
Yeah, under 300. Yeah.
Y'all see us dishing that money out from the C.O.C to buy this equipment or what?
I'll vote yes.
Anybody have a problem with?
Anybody got a
Get
problem?
it set up?
And no problems with it?
All in favor?
Yeah, we won't know until the motion passed. Go ahead, Donnie.
Thank you all.
Keep it around under $300 if you can.
You can't.
Anybody else got something?
Tesla is under investigation right now for 2 accidents involving 2 of their automated vehicles and motorcycle crashes that just recently got killed.
I just told him.
Yep. So something else to keep in mind about the automatic vehicles or whatever the crud they're called.
Yeah, one of them
Really
ran up.
idiots that can't drive, they have to have one that drives itself.
Yeah, one ran up behind a motorcycle and ran right over him. Didn't see it. Didn't recognize
2
it.
separate
I
incidents.
tell you what, you might do better with them compared to the way they run over our asses without them. That's for damn sure.
Right.
Donnie, didn't you talk about at the convention that there's some new technology to go on the motorcycles to make them more visible to the self-driving cars?
I know eventually, some of the things I've read anyway, when this gets widely available, these cars are these vehicles will communicate with each other, at least in towns. I mean, to me, it's just crazy to even think about that much government, you know, just tracking you like that. I mean, they're also looking at right now, you know, in the last highway bill, they put a pilot program in there to go to taxing by the mile. And the reason is they're looking at the loss of the revenue from the gas tax. That's what they're looking at.
Exactly right.
So to me, it's hard to believe we are where we are. But I mean, like I say, I just done some numbers on that to see. You know, I know about how many miles I drive a year. Which, you know, you ask, well, how are they going to be finding out that? Well, they got enough surveillance now to track us anyway. But I mean,
That credit card tell you everything you done.
Yeah.
Telephone.
And the telephone. Every bit of it.
Trouble, you want to give a core?
If anybody hasn't joined CORE, Coalition of Independent Riders, please see me after the meeting. Even if you're in a club, riding club, MC, doesn't matter. It offers $4,000, accidental death and dismemberment. We all need insurance, y'all. So please see me after the meeting. I'll be happy to sign you up. It stacks on top of all the other insurances that we have through ABA, LCOM, MRF, all the others. I'll be happy to talk to you about it, explain it to you. But it's something that we've all come to realize and see here past in the last year, especially, that it's not us, it's everybody else that's running over us, not seeing us, doesn't care, doesn't pay attention, and then the clubs are left, families are left not knowing how to bury us. So please, get with me, and I'll help explain everything to you and get you signed up.
Yes, one-time $25 membership fee for life. Accident and dismemberment, $4,000 pays off. MRF is a $35 a yearly membership, and it's also $4,000. And ABA is $25 a year, and it's $3,500, which comes out to $11,500. And also another thing, make sure you have uninsured motorists, because there's a lot of fools out there in cages that don't have insurance on those cars. So make sure you have uninsured motorists, and try to get the max too, because you know, $20,000 don't go too far, you know. So and it's just it's not that much a year increase if you go to the 50 or 100,000. It's not that much of a difference. I upped mine just recently, and I think it was like $8. I got mine with State Farm, so really good thing to try to do.
Yeah, so I preach this over and over again, and we can't preach it too much. It's so heartbreaking. Last year we had a leg off case, and the person who hit him had $15,000 of insurance. That's not going to do anything. On the other end of the spectrum, I had a client that was a pedestrian, and he was walking across the street in the French Quarter, and a guy in a convertible, Mustang convertible, hits him, knocked him up into the air. He did a cartwheel. I watched it happen. Okay, he bounced off the ground. He got up. We couldn't believe he got up, right? And so he gets the insurance information from the other guy, and then he's walking around and says, "Listen, go to Charity Hospital. Go right now. Get yourself checked out. You're in shock." Sure enough, he had stuff wrong with him. Okay. Come to find out, the guy that hit him had no insurance. The information he gave me, his insurance was expired. But my boy had $100,000 of UM, collected the 100 grand. 100 grand. All right? So that's the good side of the story instead of the heartbreaking side of the story. The other thing that I like to re-preach over and over again, I've heard this numerous times for the newbies, y'all need to be aware of this. Take this card and carry it in your wallet. If you ever have an encounter with law enforcement, it's got a pre-printed paragraph to read. It's quick and dirty. Officer, please understand I have the right to have an attorney present if you want to question me or conduct any search of my body or personal effects. I'm not giving my consent to any type of search. If I am under arrest, I wish to invoke and exercise my Miranda rights. I want to speak with an attorney now. I do not want my personal property impounded, nor do I consent to any impoundment. I request the opportunity to secure my personal effects. If I am not under arrest, please tell me immediately so that I may leave. Carry this, read this, makes my job easier down the road rather than them having you recorded saying all kind of things that might hurt you or trying to talk your way out of a situation. And the gloss on this is there's new federal case law that says they cannot just pull you over and keep you as long as they want. They've got to do their job and let you go. They just can't, but what allows them to keep you longer and longer and longer is you making small talk with them. The case law says if you're talking about the Saints game or the weather or Christmas, that gives the cops the excuse to keep you for another 20 minutes or half an hour. So they don't have a right to keep you forever. You say, can I go or not? And they got to pull the trigger one way or another. So everybody needs to use that thing. Everybody needs to get the UM. As Donnie said, the INCOM convention was a good success this year. Next year it's going to be on Father's Day. What happened to my email? Open it up. That's crazy. Disappeared. Yeah. That's crazy. Try one more time. Here it is. Oh, I don't know how I did that. Okay, so what the next convention is going to be in Phoenix, Father's Day weekend, June 16th to 18th. All right, along the lines of what Donnie was talking about with the ethanol and the gas, the representatives, U.S. Representatives Austin Scott, a Republican from Georgia, and Representative Louis Frankel, a Democrat from Florida, introduced the Consumer Protection and Fuel Transparency Act of 2022. So hopefully that'll get passed. If you're concerned about this issue, and I'm sure you are, you need to contact your congressional representatives by calling the U.S. Capitol Switchboard. That number is area code 202-224-3121, and ask for your representatives to support and co-sponsor HR 7731. Around the rest of the country, Tennessee has waived registration fees for 1 year to help out motorcyclists. Iowa ATV riders now have greater access to state roads. New York is getting tough on non-legal road bikes. They confiscated them. Over 900 bikes and ATVs were crushed and flattened during public bulldozing demonstration, making a statement that the seizure of unlawfully operated bikes on the street is part of a public safety push by the new New York City Mayor, Eric Adams. They need to do that in New Orleans, because they got these hoodlums on their motocross bikes and three-wheelers and four-wheelers doing wheelies up and down every one of the streets, menacing and terrorizing the citizens. Oh, and I've told y'all this a bunch of times. That just reminds me, I'll tell it again. There's actually a law on the books in the city of New Orleans that says motorcycles, all motorcycles, are illegal in the French Quarter. What? Yeah, it's a stupid law. It's not constitutional, and they don't normally enforce it, but it's a purpose. The French Quarter is a residential neighborhood. So please do yourself and all of us a favor. If you ride through the quarter, do not wrap your pipes. That's why that law's on the books. But they're going to start doing it. They're going to start jacking us around if we misbehave. We got to be good citizens. Because of COVID, international motorcycle shows have been canceled this year. And that's probably it about that kind of news. Has anybody had any issues with local law enforcement in your neighborhoods? Okay.
Remember, when y'all pull over on the side of the road, nobody talks, we all ride away. Just all you got in the state of Louisiana is an ID, stop and ID state. If a cop asks you for your ID, you have to produce it in Louisiana, and proof of insurance and registration. That's all you have to give them. All you have to say. Name, rank, and serial number. Don't say another word, and don't be a smartass about it. Politely read this card to them. This is what I tell them. I say, officer, please understand, I'm not trying to be a smart aleck, but my lawyer told me he would fire me as a client if I ever spoke to law enforcement without him being present. Shut up. and after that, stay shut up. Don't start it again, because then he starts a whole new stop, a whole new scenario with you, and he could prove in court that you gave up that right to remain silent after you invoked it because you started having a conversation with him, right?
Right.
So,
I had a question. Whenever y'all was talking about the recording device, you were saying it was in the back of the medical units. Are they trying to do that?
well, that's what I heard. Some guys I know had an altercation in Texas, and they got put in the back of an ambulance, brought to the hospital, and a month or so later, the cops come knocking on their doors here in Louisiana, saying that they had said this and they had said that, you know.
Well, something I wanted to bring up while whoever was talking to the attorney about that, it seems to be like once you're in the back of that medical unit, you would fall under the HIPAA law. And it seems like if they're
It seems
recording,
like it, yeah,
their
Dennis brought
recording
that up.
devices,
No, HIPAA protects medical information.
oh, so they can just filter out the medical part and use the other against you?
Maybe they just allowed them to use the audio portion of it.
Maybe. That's just a question.
And y'all do know that you have the constitutional right to video or the law enforcement.
Absolutely.
And it just might be wise to do that too, you know, because if you have more, especially if you have more than one of y'all get pulled over, have someone just videotaping the whole thing, you know.
Because they filter their footage, I promise you that.
Yeah, yeah. And if they're gonna search you, they're gonna search you anyway, your bike and all that, but be sure to tell them you do not consent to any search or seizures or anything. As long as you say that, it lets them know, so when he gets you in court, he can say his client did not, you know, volunteer for any kind of searches or seizures, and here's a recording saying he said that, and the cop, unless he has probable cause, but he can be making up probable cause all along the way, but it'll help the attorney in court.
That includes a pat down. That's considered a search.
I don't know how the pat down works.
It's considered a search and you don't have to consent to it.
But if he thinks you're a threat, and if you had that patch on your back, he's gonna say you're a threat, so he had the right to pat you down.
If he's got probable cause,
Yeah.
he can do a weapon search.
They do what they want in Texas. Yeah. If you got a concealed carry permit, they'll take your gun.
See, probable cause means you don't need a warrant.
Anything else anybody's got? Want to ask Richard?
Speaking of weapons, since you brought that up, August the 1st, military veterans that are honorably discharged can now conceal carry in the state of Louisiana without a permit.
That's right.
Okay, just in case anybody doesn't know.
Run that by again?
Any honorably discharged military veteran can conceal carry a firearm in the state of Louisiana without a permit now.
Is it also law enforcement, ex-law enforcement?
No, sir, military.
Just military?
Military.
That's SB 143.
Just got passed.
Yeah,
Yes, sir.
just-
And that goes into effect tomorrow.
And doesn't have a year of service or something like that too?
No, sir, just honorably discharged.
Honorable discharge.
Okay.
That's all the SB
That's all that
140, if it's any more details, I'd look up SB 143.
Uh-huh.
I think that's the number of it. Most honorably discharged veterans, I'm not one, but they have it on their driver's license. I'm assuming for some of the guys that are, that's all
It
you
says
gotta have.
veteran, but it doesn't say honorably discharged. It actually says in that law, if you wanna do that, carry a copy of DD 214 that shows that you've been honorably discharged with you,
Maybe a wise thing.
just to
If you
CYA.
have your DD 214, keep a copy of it somewhere.
And we have to sit in jail until you prove it.
Just, you know, that way y'all are exercising another one of your rights.
Anyone else? Who's this? Circuit Riders. Y'all got something coming up?
Yes, sir. We're gonna have our Louisiana State camp out. Well, it's gonna be the state camp out, but on for the circuit riders. But on the September 4th, we're gonna be having bike day. You know, Biker Sunday. Everybody, I don't care what's on your back, independent, whatever. You know, you're invited. And it's going to be about 3 miles north of Pollock, Louisiana, at Camp Pollock. It'll be on the left if you're going north of Monroe. And I don't know, a lot of the people don't know them. a lot of the older people will, is Doc Bouvier. He was, he's our CEO now and founder of Circuit Riders. We're praying that he's in good enough health to bring